Welcome to the Two Robbies and Friends. Got a great show for you today. We're going to talk my England, your USA, and we're getting some detail about the legacy of a certain Cristiano Ronaldo.
Hey! Hey! Let's go!
Buzzing. I was crying at the 82nd minute of fear, of sadness. At the 89th, those tears were there of joy. I cried at the end, I cried of joy. I said 3-1, it was 3-2. It's like 2018 all over again. We were down 2-0 in round 16. We come back 3-2. Because la la Belgium!
After 85 minutes, Belgium are losing 2-0, seemingly going out of the tournament. What just happened?
Well, what just happened was when we previewed this game, and I remember saying that I think that Belgium can have some great moments and got great players, but they're creaky. For 85 minutes, they did creak. Yeah. They looked well short, Rob, and then all of a sudden find a way back into the game. In fairness, Lukaku comes on, and Rugossi has to take some credit for making two big decisions. Yeah. Took off De Bruyne, took off Doku, and it changed the feel around the team, and somehow they found themselves back into it.
I was on the plane coming back, and that moment, Doku, does the thing where he goes off on the other side. He's absolutely furious coming down the end line. De Bruyne goes off, sits in the furthest seat he can on the bench. I thought to myself, this can only go one of two ways. I mean, this is going to be criticized. Rudy Garcia is gonna lose his 2 stars. Everyone's gonna say, I can't believe you took these guys off so early. And it went the complete opposite way. Off the bench players came on, made a difference. But I'll say, Senegal didn't get beat. They lost that game. They were in charge. They were outplaying them. They had a couple of chances.
Could have made it even goals,
even worse. I mean, Belgium for an hour was just not in the competition, and I feel.
Well, fair play to Garcia for making those changes. It's a massive call, because if that goes wrong, by the way,
do we underestimate? By the way, do we underestimate Yuri Tillemans? How good a player he is. I feel he's never mentioned.
Yeah, you're right.
And this is club and for his international.
I mean,
he's a brilliant
amongst Lukaku and Doku and De Bruyne. He is the star right now. Performance.
With the armband on, penalty.
Penalty?
The penalty. You've got to get there, Rob.
I gotta be honest. Like VAR, this might be the first time I swear on the show. Is a joke. I mean, it has gotten. It has gotten. I'll never forget when we were over with the Premier League, the first season they were going to bring VAR. You remember when they took us in the back to show us all the offside stuff? Oh, yeah. And I raised my hand, asked a question, I go, how is this not a human doing it again? It is completely re-refereeing now. Yeah. The red card for Balogun, the goal called back for Germany, the penalty for Belgium. All of it is someone going and looking at slow motion angles over and over again. That's not what VAR was supposed to be. This clear and obvious intention never happened. Well, if it's clear and obvious, it doesn't take 20 replays.
I know. I couldn't agree more. It's re-refereeing, Rob, and that's the one thing we didn't want. And re-refereeing, by the way, with slow motion video. Yeah. Which is totally different. Totally different. You can make anything look bad.
The action.
When I'm watching the game now, I have no idea how a decision is going to go. I have no idea if that's going to be called, if he's going to go to the sideline, is he going to make a decision?
So what I would say, Rob, and as ex-players, you all have this. You sometimes see something, you have a feel for it straight away. Like, I see that and I go, that's not a penalty. That's not a penalty. In my eyes, you can see the way the ball goes in. You can see the way that the guy goes down. You can see contact between the two players. There's an innate sense of usually.
But that's our innate sense of the Premier League. And is this the problem, Carl? That all the interpretations of these laws in different countries are done slightly differently. And you bring it all in together with the added complexity of VAR official as well. And you have this something show of a tournament.
It's not interpretation, it's misuse. It is flat out what it should have been, the Thierry Henry handball. remember that got them in the things where the entire stadium, when they get done replay, go, I cannot believe you got that wrong. That's what VAR is supposed to be sensing.
100%.
Not sitting there.
I know.
I watched the referee. First off, having a referee run over in front of the world and judge themselves on the decision they made is already misuse of the system. But I watched him watch the replay over and over again. And what's funny is they change it, next angle, change it, next angle. You can almost get the sense that someone has told him they think it's a penalty.
Now
and he's waiting for the version they've seen to enter. And the second it gets to the third angle and the third replay, I'm sitting there going, this is obvious. It's not clear and obvious if this is taking you somewhere.
It has to be a strong guy who goes to that monitor and saying, no, I'm okay with what I did.
It happened early on, didn't it?
It did happen early on, and I thought, wow, that's great.
It's coming home. Kane took over. He was brilliant against Croatia. Whatever Tuchel said to him after, no good. He came in today. Took care of business.
It's coming home. After that, it has to. I thought it was a tough game. It was similar to the game we played against Ghana. Tough to break up.
It was horrible to watch for like 70 minutes and then fantastic for 20, so it's alright. My heart rate 120 the whole time. Myself, it's okay, we're going. Mexico has SAKA, we're gonna win.
But it's a bit like Panama. It takes a while to break down the low block. We look a bit dodgy, and then we come out with a result. So, beat Mexico, we've got it.
So England make it to the round of 16, courtesy of a brace from Harry Kane. Let's start about England. Let's talk about Kane, and let's.
You go first. You go first. You go first.
So I'm trying to stay positive about England, all right? And I've sort of like, it's not moaning about it. We are what we are. He's picked the team he's picked. But I got to be honest, sat on my couch yesterday, 74 minutes in, I'm like, is this really happening? Like, and it seems like the reaction is one of two camps. Mine, quite honestly, that's like, is this, why is everything is so difficult for us to have a comfortable game against a team that played great? Utmost respect to DR Congo, but we make it difficult for ourselves. And there's the other camp, I'm not sure which, that is like, it's okay, all under control. We were creating chances in the first half after the first period. And I get that. And Tuchel himself said, after the first period, we were pressing well, made some alterations, and then we dominated. I'll tell you where I felt about it. What, did you feel comfortable in 75 minutes then?
You're happier with the win than anything else that came out of the game, apart from England have a go-to guy when they're in trouble who can get them out of the mess. I was reading something this morning where the question was asked, is Harry Kane the greatest ever England player?
It's getting close
and the other thing I kind of watched and looked this morning and smiled to myself is he's gone past Pelé. Goal scored in this tournament, gone past the great Pelé. Can you imagine what that is? Pelé, one of the greatest of all time, and Harry Kane has gone past him. So in that side, Rob, it's a positive. It's, the Mbappe, it's the Messi, it's the Ronaldo, it's the guy you go to. England have got one of those. But in terms of some of their football, some of the control, the performance, I have at the moment, my biggest issue at the moment, and I know people have proposed, is the wide players for England. There isn't a wide player playing in any kind of form in the England team. Is it Simpenga, the Congo player? Looked head and shoulders above Rashford, who plays for Barcelona, and to a degree, Anthony Gordon, who made a couple of goals or had a hand in a couple of goals, but no wide players look like they're enjoying the football. They're bringing anything to the party.
And this is the philosophy of Tuchel. He's gone with wingers. He's got two on the left, two on the right. He's ignored players that play inside, the Folarin, the Palmers, the Gibbs White. So he's going on this philosophy. And Kyle, Bukayo Saka, right? We've loved him for Arsenal. I mean, he was one that I thought was going to be a strong part of our team on the right-hand side. And the left isn't so good with Rashford and Gordon, but I can rely on Saka. Why are we not seeing him at his best? Is it purely down to his injuries he's had?
It has to be. I mean, I'm an Arsenal fan. I watched him a bunch during the year. He just doesn't look like he's moving right. It's forget not taking people on or not pulling off plays. Even without the ball, his gait just looks a little off. He looks a little timid, looks like he's either worried about something or
There's
caring.
one of two things. He's either got an injury or he's protecting an injury.
And you said it. I mean, the system is built to bring wingers into the game. So if I'm Palmer or I'm Foden and I'm sitting at home, I'm thinking to myself, how did I not get into this team?
Well, even as wingers, he wants his quick, pacey, Kane drop deep, play it over the top, pace from the outside areas. That's what he's obviously looking for.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, Kane is special. I think it looks labored. It looks, you know, when you do this sort of shadow passing pattern drills in training and it's not coming off, the manager brings it all the way back and you're like, oh, I got to go back again. It looks like they're trying things that just aren't clicking, and then they just turn into individuals very, very fast. That's what it feels like. We need an individual to come up with a big play because we're not really connecting with one another. But Harry Kane is the type of individual in this tournament that only needs a couple chances.
I mean, it feels like we're a team with an attacking posture and we're not attacking very well. So we attack with our forwards and we're defending with our defenders. There's no connection, I feel, between the back and the front. We're not attacking together. We're not defending together. Based on Tuchel's approach of front foot, let's get at teams. And we're just not, we don't look great doing that.
England's about to face the most challenging game I think they've had, going to SAKA against Mexico, who is not only flying forward, almost impossible to break down at this point. 20 minutes into that game, England could be out of it if they do not show up and connect and have a plan.
Can I just go back to something that I thought was really, really important at the end of the game? And it was the second best performance after Harry Kane, was the Wonderwall singing with the fans and the players. Because it was a game, Rob, where they didn't play particularly well, and there was a few moans and groans before. And now they just felt like there was that moment where there was a little connection again between the fans. And I think that's going to be important because they're going to go to Mexico. And I'm telling you, the way Mexico play and you go in that altitude where I've played, Rob, it is difficult to just to take, to take a breath. So I just felt that connection with the fans was good again, was good. I mean, those scenes in Bellingham and the players singing, I thought was important, like that the fans are with them still and we're together, and England still can bring it home, but things are going to have to change. And the manager's going to have a little rethink, Rob.
It might suit England a little bit with the approach that I think we agree that Mexico's going to go with. I watched them in their last game against Ecuador. Fly out the track. They fly at you. Well, that might suit England to play a little bit from a deeper position, to get Rashford running over the top and some of those spaces that aren't there when a team drops deep. Just back on Harry Kane, there's two moments so far in this tournament that's taken my breath away. The Kylian Mbappe step over, come inside and smack it into the far corner in their last knockout game. And Harry Kane's second goal to win it. The technique and the power and the timing of that took my breath away. And you know, I hope we don't get too reliant on Harry Kane. Others have got to show up. And this Mexico game, as Kyle said, is an amazing test of us in so many ways.
In the same way, the reliance thing, Rob, and I used to be like, we shouldn't be like, because obviously if he's shutting down and he has a bad day. But you mentioned Mbappe. France do kind of rely on him. I know what Dembele's, but Argentina rely on Messi, and there is, and I kind of feel like Harry Kane quite likes being reliant. Like Anthony Gordon talked, and I heard in the interview after that, he said when the ball came to him in the box, his first thought was, should I take a touch? And then he said, I saw H, and it was almost like I just knew he'll do what he needs to do. And if the players are thinking that, and Kane's taking that stance like, I'm the guy, I don't think that's a bad thing. And I quite like it in the centre forward that, you know what, despite whatever's going on, and it was interesting, some journalist did the very clever thing of linking him with Tom Brady, is it? Because he's into NFL and everything. And he said he has Brady-esque moments when he gets hold of the thing, sets the plan and executes it. And that goal you talk about, if that was Mbappe, we were going on and on about it because it was a brilliant bit of attacking football.
What's so amazing about that goal too is he takes a peek and picks where he wants to put that. That wasn't, you know, he's at a very difficult angle. You know, to even get good contact with that first touch kind of going away from the goal, he picks where he wants to go, and not only hits it with incredible power and precision, but he had already made his mind up. So many people are trying to swing at that and maybe go across the grain or just get good contact. I thought to myself when he went to go hit it, I know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to go try to go higher
as well, which is incredible.
He didn't put his weight through it.
Normally that's a late season. I'm giving it everything I've got. You just give it a side.
And you want to know what? Made by Pochettino. Added by Orsi later, bringing this guy Harry Kane, this young guy not given a chance. I mean, to think of his career since he showed up in the first team for Spurs, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, he's playing for Bayern Munich, scoring goals at all levels. I mean, he could be the best England player ever after this is done, especially if he brings it home. You guys need it to come home.
What's up, Brazil? We want Belgium. We want Belgium. We want France. Pay taxes. This is why. Pay taxes.
Wow, so they're very happy. And back to Robbie Earl's point about singing the players, singing the song afterwards. Take Me Home, Country Roads was the special moment.
We need a different song, but yeah.
But is something special happening with this US team?
Yeah, I mean, first knockout win since 2002. I remember watching that 2002 team, a handball, Frings on the line against Germany. I mean, there was this incredible belief that started to creep in. And it started with the first game against Portugal. You're seeing Figo, some of these world-class players, and you're watching saying, and it's a phrase that I think Poch and some people are throwing out. Why not us? And watching Germany go out, watching Netherlands go out, it kind of becomes a how do you handicap how far things can go? Belgium, obviously we know that was one of the most brutal knockouts we've faced. Tim Howard kept us from losing that game 4-0. This Belgian team is clearly not as good as that team in the past. They've had their struggles, but I mean, I think it's 10 games we couldn't beat a European side, finally beat a European side. Here comes another one. So I think this is the most confident we've ever looked. I think consistency too. In 2002, there were ups and downs. I mean, we definitely, even though we played really well, sneaked out of that group. That was not a sure thing. Balogun is a huge loss. I mean, Balogun is more than goals. He presses, he connects the game, he runs the channels. So it'll be really interesting how Pochettino handles that. If you go off of last game, you put Pepe in. So you could play Christian as a false 9 and maybe bring Berhalter to try to win the midfield against Belgium. Could be some
goal scorer.
Whatever decision he makes, it will not be as dangerous.
And we'll agree it was a crazy race.
It's ridiculous. Said that it honestly should be reversed. It won't, but it's a shame that is going to affect the competition, and we got to get rid of more. I'm working on it.
Again, for me, Kyle, was the Balogun getting sent off, big striker, got the goal. Was and I've said this a couple of times now, the maturity in the group where I thought they managed the game up. There weren't too many dramatic moments. It's like, okay, we're down to 10, but we still make sure that we control the football game, get the second goal, they'll give themselves a space. And if anything, for me, that's what I've seen in this USA team, that they can deal with issues now. I used to always feel there was a bit of immaturity and people would lose their head or lose their emotional control. It looks like this group have kind of got it together.
Absolutely. And what I really liked about the game was we didn't start great. It's one of those games where in the past you start to get nervous, and it erodes your belief. It erodes the consistency. You start taking an extra touch and you start trying things that aren't natural. You get guys yelling at each other, and you can feel that. When you play against teams, you can feel like, I think we've got these guys now. The U.S. were just, there's almost this inevitability about performances now that in the past was entitlement. That's why we thought we're good enough. We thought, we got players playing all over the world. We got players playing Champions League. We should win. And that entitlement creeped into the team, and I think created a culture that Pochettino needed to reverse. And so the inevitability of the performance comes from the accountability of each and every player being there every play, being switched on, being confident, wanting the ball, wanting to play between the lines. So it's not only winning, it's winning with a competitive spirit that we've always been known for, but a class, like you're saying, of emotional IQ, of ambition, that against Belgium will be the biggest test. Can we do that in the round of 16 against Belgium?
3 things that I want to talk about and certainly struck with me from the game. First off, the ability to win a slightly different way, Carl. So you had to grind a little bit. You got a man less, 4-4-1, roll the sleeves up, organised, determined, gritty. That's the first thing. Second thing, Tillman, Freeman, Richards. Other players are proving to be absolutely at the standard required, Carl. Because I think we maybe thought, well, you got McKinney's good and Pulisic's good, you know, but others are looking like they're really good. It's not, I mean, Pulisic didn't have a brilliant game, but the team still played really well. Yeah. And the third part, the most important part for me, and we talked about it before we were recording here, the way that US play, the lack of inhibition, the freedom, the abandon. I mean, they've got so much pressure in terms of what they're trying to do as a host nation. The expectation of the growth of the game is based on how they do, and they play with such freedom and happiness, and they get forward, and they don't have the scar tissue of someone like England. I think you see that when you watch England, the scar tissue from what's gone on, but USA don't have that. And I'm amazed at how well they play and their general attitude and demeanor when they go into these games.
And you know what that is? We've followed Pochettino for a long time. We got to spend time with him when he was at Spurs. I've got to spend a lot of time with him with the US side. And this isn't demeaning or belittling. He's not a big tactics guy. You know, obviously they're organized, they do their homework, he's got ideas. He is such a feel coach.
Yeah,
And he raised the bar and challenged all the stars, right? That was one thing he did early on that might have been subtle in the background of, don't care what the name is on the back of your jersey. Don't care what you've done. I come from Argentina. You know, if I've got to motivate you to play for the national team, he was kind of incredulous that there were players that, I'm not going to come in this camp, or I'm going to come in, but I'm just going to kind of coast a little bit. And this wasn't a long time ago. This was 6 months ago. The culture of the U.S. national team shifted, and so a lot of these question marks were players we just didn't know what they were going to be capable of. Freeman, Berhalter, you know, so some of these guys, even Dest, right? A lot of question marks about Dest. Are we going to be able to count on him? Can we trust him? And Pochettino, I would say his entire cycle has not been about, should we play with a false 9? Should we play with back 3? Yes, we've moved into this back 3. It was trying to get this feel right of, go play, you're good enough.
It's a really interesting point you make there, and I'll give you 2 examples of why I think you're spot on. First of all, I knew some people who were at Southampton, when he was at Southampton, who were saying that he's good on the training ground, but it's when he puts his arm around players and finds a way to get more of them, and all of a sudden took this team from very low sort of expectation to being a bit more ambitious. And I'm going to point you also to one player who we spent a bit of time with. We talked to Dele Alli. Dele Alli was at Tottenham Football Club, and he was a decent player, had been like a street footballer. And Dele Alli, I always remember we were at Stoke City away. Dele Alli came to our desk and we asked him, what's the greatest thing about Poch? And he said, he's a great manager, but he says he's also a really good friend. And it really stuck with me that like a manager at this level has also got the kind of buy-in from a star player who could go one of 2 ways. And we've seen, unfortunately, Dele's career not go the way it should do. And you just feel like somebody like Pochettino with the Freemans and with the Tillemans, and Freemans and those players knows how to get something from the individuals as well as getting something from the group.
And I think the big difference, if I'm just looking at the US and England, quality, you know, you'd argue England has a team with more quality. But let's just say the talent is on par or close enough. Pochettino's given a freedom to the US that I think Tuchel, there's just so much it looks like there's so much in everyone's head. It's just you're watching them trying to think through all these things that they're supposed to do. And I just watch the US and think, this is how England should be able to play.
And there's a identity now, which is astonishing to me. We've talked about Pochettino's kind of man management, but how about the team? It's grooved. It's absolutely groove. The team kind of picks itself. You know they're going to play. Robertson's going to get forward. Right fullback's going to stay in there. You got Tillman and Weston McKinney that are playing like 8s. Adam does a great job. I mean, it's like, you know what you're going to get, and they're doing it every game.
So Portugal versus Croatia, probably the biggest game of the day. It means Ronaldo versus Modric. We're going to center our attentions on CR7, the great Cristiano Ronaldo. Where are we in terms of his standing, his legacy, his input to Portuguese football?
Well, the input to Portuguese football is unquestioned. They didn't win a major tournament until he started playing for them. Of course, they won the Euros in 2016. They've won the Nations League twice. Recently, 2025 for them. So I think it's 165 goals in 231 games that he's managed with this team. So that enough for me is like, wow. But there does feel like there's a little bit of split opinion out there, and that he's always been a selfish footballer, and that he's looking for records to continue. That doesn't spring to mind for me, but does it to you?
Selfish footballers. Kyle, tell me what you think.
That's the ball. I don't think, listen, I think he's the right type of selfish for me. I think you need an ego that you have a special ability to change a game. You can't be as good as he is without that. You know, Eusebio, Ronaldo, you know, Maradona, Messi. It's like he will be thought of, and I never. There's not another. He's not the next Eusebio. He's a new, bar, a new icon, a new person to celebrate. Now, is he past it? Of course he is. But just like we say, Harry Kane only needs a moment. Cristiano Ronaldo only needs a moment, and I think, I remember when he was injured, he was on the sideline in the Euro. He loves playing for his country. To me, I think that's crystal clear. So any wanting to go hit a record, I think if you ask Ronaldo, and obviously we don't know his personal life, his personal situation, if he performs and they don't win, I don't think he feels good about that. I mean, he wants to lead Portugal into the later stages and believes he can do it.
Yeah, and isn't that a little bit of a tough argument in that part of who he is and part of what makes him great is that kind of striving, is that wanting to do it.
Outdo Messi.
And be challenged. And we saw the goal started, didn't we? And we said, oh, Ronaldo hasn't started, then he comes back in and I'm back. That's been the drive from the kid who came from very poor beginnings, Rob. We've seen him all the way through in club football and European football and now national football. And it's interesting because, I was just doing a little bit of homework on this and thinking like, Ronaldo legacy, let me see what people said. And it was really interesting that one of the things that I came across where they said, he has been the biggest influence on 3 superstar players who were in this tournament. Mbappe, Haaland and Vinny Jr. all said he was the guy that they looked up to as they were growing, as they were starting their careers. So he's done more in this game probably than people are giving him credit for, just thinking about it's a game and it's about him and he's very vain and self-centered. But actually, he's actually improved the game and given opportunities to others.
I have to be honest, I can't understand the criticism on him. What? I don't see any of the negative side of the icon that he is. I just feel like if Messi didn't exist, this guy would be lionized as the greatest thing out there. And the debate has always been silly. Different players. Messi is an alien. He's the greatest thing on the planet right now to kick a ball. I wish we just put that conversation to the side, because I remember when he got to Manchester United, he was this talented kid that looked like maybe it's not actually gonna work out. Dribbling too much. Premier League's probably gonna be. And Wayne Rooney was all the way up here. When he left that last season, I thought to myself, is this guy just gonna score every game? Wayne Rooney got tucked out onto the left to do a job because Cristiano Ronaldo was up top. I thought to myself, this guy made this happen through character. Through
it's like a mentality.
And I was just amazed that people question
don't buy into
his character when everywhere he's gone. He has performed, and the entire world has watched, and half of it has criticized. And find bad find really bad moments from Cristiano Ronaldo. I feel like everyone's just trying to find a reason not to like him.
He scored in 6 World Cups.
Yes, that's incredible.
6 to 24 over a 24-year period in terms of consistency and quality. If Portugal have got problems, he ain't it, and he hasn't been it. And I'm with you, Carl.
Does he have to start every game though, Rob, or could he be coming off the bench and making things happen later in games if it goes into extra time and penalties?
I'm of the thought, and I don't watch, Portugal every single game they play. He's so good. He's so dangerous. He's such a good finisher. He's so experienced. He's done so much with that midfield behind. I'd start him unless there's something about him that the coach sees that he struggles or he's struggling to recover in time for these games. Why wouldn't you start him? For me,
Yeah. And last thing on him too. How many times have you seen a video of him going out of his way to sign an autograph for a kid? It's like, and to me, probably people are saying he's doing this for his image. I can only, when I think through the Rolodex of experiences on and off the field with him, I only see positive things. So chill out on Ronaldo.
we're on the corner of 5th Avenue and Central Park. We're on the corner of the Central Park. We're going to have some hot dogs. I happen to like the taste of hot dogs, the soft rolls, the mustard, the ketchup, the onion, some of them. I think some places do them slightly differently. I'm okay to try any of them.
Well, I do see mozzarella sticks on the menu though, which actually could be a substitute for the hot dog.
Can I have a traditional famous hot dog, please? Just how you think it's done at the best, I'll take it.
Some traditional American mozzarella sticks, please.
Are they traditional then, mozzarella sticks?
Traditional.
That's a lot in there. There's a lot of stuff on there, isn't there? I guess the onion's on the top.
Thank you.
So Rob, nothing more New York than this.
Yeah.
Sat in a shady spot, Central Park right behind us, and I've got a classic New York hot dog with all the trimmings. I can't wait to try it. What have you got?
Classic American mozzarella sticks.
It's very soft roll, which is key. Here we go. That's lovely.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's lovely. A lot going on. A lot of flavours. Texture's good. You don't want to have a hot dog. It's a hot dog in bread. This has got so much going on around it. It's brilliant. So I'm having a Pepsi with it. It just kind of enhances the flavour of the meat and the hot dog. Goes very well together.
Maybe not as iconic, but the mozzarella stick is a thing of beauty. A lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
See what happens when... Yeah, it's almost like there's a nice contrast between the crunchiness of the mozzarella stick and smooth, sweeter taste of the Pepsi. Kind of brings out a different flavour.
Liking it?
Yeah, I quite like that.
So if you're in the city and you're a meat eater, these hot dog stands are all over the park. Totally recommend you go and get one.
And if you're a non-meat eater, mozzarella sticks and ranch is a pretty good alternative.
2 other games today, Ron. Spain taking on Austria.
Yeah.
Switzerland taking on Algeria. More time for Lamine Yamal to get to his best. Kyle, we've seen glimpses, but nothing solid yet. Assuming they're going to win this one?
Yeah, I think watching Germany and Netherlands, world powers drop out of this tournament, we're going to see the opposite from Spain. I think they're going to slowly get better game after game, and they have. And at times it's looked languid and a bit maybe overcomplicating things, overpassing. I think they're good. It's kind of like when Usain Bolt gets out of the gates, and once he gets upright and just starts to run away from everyone, I think Spain is going to start to show their class against this game. And Austria is a good matchup for them.
Yeah, it's about momentum and rhythm. It just feels like they haven't had that yet. What I would say, Robin, and probably doesn't get a lot talked about, they're yet to concede a goal, so defensively they've been pretty strong. But this is top end of the pitch, isn't it? Williams and Yamal are so important. Rethabal's done quite well, I think, is his striker. He's got goals and assisted. And the midfield mix,
It's good. I mean, good midfield, isn't it?
with Pedri, with Rodri, and whether it's a Marino or Ruiz or Zubimendi, there's quality in there. So you just feel with that level of quality and a little bit of momentum going, this is where Spain will really look to kick in and show. I mean, at the moment, it's hands down. Everybody's going France, and Spain aren't being talked about. So it's about getting a little bit of momentum against an Austria team that can be difficult to play. We'll play with a little bit of pace and energy and closing down. So it's a good test, but you got to see Spain.
And Switzerland get the job done against Algeria.
I mean, I think that's going to be a tough matchup for them, actually. I mean, I think I was saying this earlier. I feel for some of the African teams that, what was it, 9 out of the 10 got out of the group. Tunisia were the only one that didn't. And every performance they've been, you know, the better side, and just got a little bit unfortunate. I feel that there will be a false narrative that the African nations didn't show up. They absolutely have. So
maybe this will be
there's a little bit of extra pressure that way.